Hello and welcome to Theme Park Worldwide. On Thursday the 8th of March 2018, I was invited by Alton Towers Resort to be one of the first people to experience Wicker Man. And in this video, I'm going to be talking all about my experience on the ride. I'll also be talking about the queue line and the general area for Wicker Man, along with talking about the pre-show inside the building, and then of course the ride experience itself. Now firstly, I'd like to thank Alton Towers for the opportunity of being one of the first people to see this ride and also experience it, and we had a fantastic day. And make sure you check out our other videos over the next few days from Wicker Man. There is so much to come on Theme Park Worldwide as we lead up to the opening of this new ride on March the 17th. So yes, the ride itself, it's of course located in Mutiny Bay. It's on the former site of the log flume, and they've completely transformed that entire area. Now anyone who's been to Alton Towers before and used to go on the log flume, well now there's like the little plaza area where you could look out over the flume and the lake itself. With Wicker Man, you've still got that plaza area, but now you've got this huge wooden roller coaster manufactured by GCI, and then of course you've got the 60-foot tall Wicker Man statue itself. And you know what? It looks incredible in person. Now you stand there on that plaza, and for the people that aren't going to ride Wicker Man, whether because they're too scared to ride or they just don't enjoy roller coasters, there's still so much to see from this in terms of an off-ride perspective. You can stand all the way around it on the little plaza area. Of course, it visually looks stunning off-ride as the coaster train passes through the Wicker Man structure 3 times. Now you've got a combination of real fire and also fake fire used. On the Wicker Man structure itself, you've got real flames which are on the sides of the shoulders, and then you've also got some screens built into there as well, which has got like an image of a burning fire effect. So it's very clever, and in person, I think that looks really good. If you watch the channel for a while, you'll know I love my fire effects. I love like the likes of Valhalla at Blackpool Pleasure Beach for its fire and special effects, and Wicker Man certainly doesn't disappoint in terms of the special effects. Every time the train passes through, you get a good blast of fire from either shoulder, and you've got the constant burning effect coming through the middle of the structure itself as well. In terms of the other things on the plaza, you got the shop just off to the left hand side. We didn't get a chance to experience the shop this time, as I believe there's still finishing touches, but I will be doing a video from there next week when we're at the ride opening, and also the press event before the ride opens on the Friday evening. So you've also got some other real fire on that plaza. There's a few fire torches. You got some fake fire torches there as well, which is really clever. It's like a bulb, which just gives it quite a nice effect. And there's a few other bits to read there as well. You've got a bit about the Bjorman, which is the storyline behind the ride, and you've got the cue board there as well. At the moment, there's no wait times in there. There'll be a screen put in there before the ride opens next week. Anyway, the entrance itself to Wicker Man, obviously you've got the sign just there, which looks really nice actually, very heavily detailed with the wicker effect on there. And you walk into the main queue line straight on, and you find yourself immersed with the coaster all the way around you as it does its turnaround section. Now walking through there when the coaster's running is incredible, but even when the coaster's not there, it feels really high actually. It stands around you, and you've got like all these buntings which are hanging across as well. They've got like festoon light bulbs on, and they've got like a straw effect to them which look quite nice. As you look out towards the statue from here, again it looks incredible from this angle. Probably my favourite place to look at the actual statue is from that point in the queue line, especially for a close-up perspective anyway. Obviously you get to see all the screens, the train passing through it from that angle really well. There's a few other bits of signage and stuff to look at there, and then you make your way through back under the structure and walk up the right hand side of where the coaster is. You can actually look out over the whole of Wicker Man from the queue line, and let's just say it looks incredible from there as well. You're going to be able to get some really good off-ride shots of this coaster, whether you like taking photos or videos. Looks really nice around that point. You then walk up towards the queue line shop, where you'll be able to purchase snacks and things once the ride's open. Obviously it's going to be getting big queues, so they thought about that with the queue line shop. And then just next to it you've got a big piece of wicker theming as well, similar to what you saw just at the turnaround section. You then make your way towards the lift hill, where there's more torches at the side using the fake fire effect, and then follow the footpath right down next to the coaster under the lift hill, where you get a really nice shot actually of the train coming out of the indoor section, which it comes through just before it makes its way up the lift hill. And must say, you can get really nice up close and personal to this ride, and it's also worth pointing out, it's not a cattle pen queue line at all. You walk all the way round the coaster, and you don't zigzag up and down on the main bulk of the queue line. I believe there is a bit of cattle pen round to the back of the site, but that wasn't open today, and to be honest, they can fit quite a lot of people in that main queue without needing to use the cattle pen, which is good. In terms of when I keep saying cattle pen, it's where the queue zigzags up and down, it's a bit boring and you feel a bit claustrophobic sometimes. So yeah, anyway, at that point on, you get some really nice views across the coaster, and as you can see there, that's another really good vantage point of the Wicker Man structure. From this point on, it looks like that will be the merge point for the ride. So you will be having fast track, and there's a fast track entrance which comes up on the front side of the Wicker Man structure. And yet again from there, you'll get some really good views of the coaster running round. Now at this merge point here, obviously you've got the main queue, and then you'll make your way into the baggage hold, which is indoors. So you firstly enter this really nice themed building actually. You go in there, you've got like all the rocks down the side, there's all like drapes and things hanging about. And to be honest, it's one of the nicest themed rooms in the whole of Alton Towers theme park. I think they've done a really good job, and that's just literally before you go into the pre-show, that's the baggage hold. On the left hand side you've got the baggage hold where you store your loose items. It runs the same as the likes of Smiler, where you'll put your things in, you'll get like a keyring or a wristband, and then you get your stuff back after you come off the ride. This is where you wait to go in to the pre-show, and at this point it was worth pointing out the audio. It's done by Score of Germany. They do some fantastic park music, and you can hear a little bit of it in the background throughout this video, and yeah, to be honest, it sounds really good. Knowing Score, we knew they were going to do something fantastic, and they really haven't disappointed with the audio on Wicker Man. Lots of speakers all the way round, and one of the ride designers was telling us how in the queue line there's actually 3 different soundtracks, but they all sort of blend into one as you progress through the queue line. So I love stuff like that, and the audio is a big part of it. Now at this point, you make your way into the pre-show room. Now we knew it was going to be really tall in there, but I didn't realise quite how big it was going to be. You walk into the room, and firstly you're greeted with a themed floor, which is lovely, like all rocks in the floor, which looks great. All the way round, you got rocks placed at the side of you as well. And you're in like this big wicker building, you know, and it's huge, it really is. I'd probably say it's a good, maybe 30 foot tall. You've got like all little lights and things in there. And then you've got this big like screen in front of you, like drapesing down. And then at this point, the screen will come on and it tells you a bit of a backstory to the ride and Wicker Man, and a bit about the Bee Orman and why you're here basically. And then all of a sudden, there's a really loud like drone in the background, and then the screen was lift up, and then you have this Wicker Man projection mapped head right in front of you, and I'm not joking, it's probably 2.5, 3 meters wide and tall. It is huge, it really is, and that's projection mapped, there's audio, and it's stunning. The whole pre-show lasts in total maybe about, I don't know, maybe about a minute, so it's not ridiculously long, but it's a good length to it as well. You know, it's not like you don't walk in and think, oh, is that it? You go in and you think, oh yeah, that was good, now get me on the ride. But yeah, in there you've got lots of lighting, lots of special effects. It's worth pointing out the smoke around the ride as well. The smoke all throughout it, which is great. It adds a really good atmosphere to the ride. So you come out of the pre-show room, which like I say has got more lighting, it's got that projection screen, and then of course it's got the projection mapped head. You geared up at this point and you come into the ride station. You're greeted there by the 12 different bays. Of course, Wicker Man seats 24 riders at a time, 2 in a row, meaning there's 12 air gates, and then you enter the station and it's quite nicely themed in there. I mean, you've got the back wall which has got like all rock work on, very Taron style actually, been done by the same company I believe, Universal Rocks. Above it you've got like a fake fire effect which runs across the whole wall, and say we're standing in the station now, the op cabin's to the right hand side, and then it's located on the far side, so on the left hand side when you're sitting on the train. And then you've got moving headlights in the ceiling as well, which are creating a really nice flicker effect on all of the floor. Also in there, the soundtrack is really pumping. There's so many speakers throughout this ride area, the pre-show and the station, which is great, and that's something what also carries on to the ride as well. Now at this point, obviously you step onto the ride, and I'll talk about my first experience on it, which was towards the back of the train, which in my opinion is definitely the better place to be sitting on Wicker Man. So the air gates open, standard lap bar, there's no seat belts, anything like that. The height restriction is 1.2 meters for Wicker Man as well. It's worth pointing out that a lot of the roller coasters at Alton Towers are 1.4 metre rides. You've got Spinball Whizzer and also 13, they're 1.2 rides. So it goes along with that. But to be honest, as I'm going to about to tell you now, it really, I just think 1.2 seems like not very tall for the experience. It's a really intense ride, actually, especially towards the back. So anyway, you step on board, in front of you in the station, you've got like all the ropes and drapes and things hanging from the ceiling. Very well themed, spot on in there, really good. And then in front of you, you see, it's like another Wicker Man logo in front of you just on the wall, which is covering up, basically hanging from the brake run for the ride. At this point then, the train moves forwards, you are dispatched, and then you're on a gradual decline there, round to the right hand side where you go into an indoor section. Now you don't stop in there at all, you go straight through it. Probably takes about 5 seconds to pass through, but you can't see anything in there. They've pumped it full of mist and smoke, and you've got like a burning, flickering light in there as well with audio. And this is where the audio continues all throughout the ride, all up the lift hill as well. The first point you don't hear audio is by the time you're at the top of the ride, and then you're screaming whilst you're going down it. So it's a really good experience in terms of an audio experience. So yes, we come out of this building, round to the left and up the lift hill. Starts off around this sort of angle, obviously, and then it flattens out a bit more. That's just because of the design of it, and so it makes its way over the different elements around the ride. So you climb up the lift hill, standard sort of speed, I would say. It's not ridiculously fast. In fact, with GCI lift hills, they are commonly quite slow, but it means that you can look round and have a really good view of the coaster. You get to the top, and obviously you're in a sound tunnel. Here you've got a smoke machine which blasts all the way down. You've got your last bit of audio that you can hear, and then there you go into the ride experience itself. So from there, it picks up speed so quick. Now, obviously we all know that this isn't one of the longest wooden roller coasters out there. In fact, it is one of the shortest, but don't let that put you off, and don't let that make you think, oh, it's not going to be very good. I was pleasantly surprised. I knew it was going to ride quite well from doing other GCI coasters, what are a little bit smaller than that, such as White Lightning over at Fun Spot in Orlando, and also Heidi the Ride at Plopsaland de Pan in Belgium. And so I kind of knew what was coming from it really, but it rides better than both of them, which is really good. So it picks up the speed quite quick actually, especially when the back of the train, and you're whipped round into the first drop. Brilliant, really good. Feels like you're going to hit your head on the structure, obviously with it being a sound tunnel. You have a little bit of space where you come out of the tunnel at the bottom, and then you're pushed up into the first moment of airtime hill, I'm going to call it, because it's packed with airtime. On the front, you are pushed over the hill. On the back, you kind of dragged over it and then pushed towards the end of it. You know what? That's an intense part of the ride. And the thing is, with an airtime hill, you kind of expect to come forward, up into the airtime, and then down into a straight drop. With Wicker Man, it goes up into the airtime hill and then banks all of a sudden round to the right, and then you're continuing down on a descent, down on this sort of angle, before whipping round to the left and then passing through the Wicker Man structure for the first time. I must say, it's a really good near miss. That to me feels like the fastest point of the coaster, because obviously you've come down that drop, into the airtime, down another drop and keeping going down, and then you bank round to the left. And on the back, really intense. If you've been on Woden at Europa Park, just as intense as that at that point of the ride. Then makes its way up, gradual incline through the Wicker Man structure, where you go round the turnaround section. Again, it's kept quite a good pace there. It's much faster than I was expecting. And then pass through the structure itself as well. That's the point where you get to see the fire, so to speak, on the ride. As much as the fire goes off every time the train passes through, that was the only point on ride, really, where it made that much of a difference, I thought. When you do that turnaround section and you're greeted by, at the same sort of eye level, your fire coming out of the shoulders. So yeah, from that point on, you continue through the structure, down another drop, up into a bit of airtime, and then make your way around to the slowest part of the ride, which is another turnaround section where it's not banked at all. It's literally that sort of angle, and it's right near the queue line shop. You'll be able to wave for the queue line, some really good interaction, and then as it passes round there, you then go into another drop. At this point, you get another good view of the Wicker Man structure and the fire effects, but not quite as good as a view as you get on that other turnaround section towards the start of the ride. So from this point on, you then continue down towards the structure, and this is the closest, in my opinion, where you get to the Wicker Man structure. Obviously, you pass through it 3 times, but this is the closest you feel to the structure, because it banks round to the right as you go through it. So that was really good. It picks up some good pace there. And then at that point, it's still, to be honest, it doesn't feel like it's petering out, so to speak. Normally with a wooden coaster, so you can tell when it's getting towards the end. With Wicker Man, it comes into them brakes with some speed, I tell you. And then it banks round to the left. You pass back through under the lift hill, and then at this point you'd expect the brakes to start. You'll see what I mean when you get to ride it. The brakes feel like they should start there, but it's good how they don't, because the track's sort of on this sort of angle, then it meanders round and then into the brakes, so you kind of get a bit of a jolt into the side, which is great, and then you're into the brake run. From this point you then enter another sound tunnel, which is completely pitch black. There's nothing in terms of special effects in there, but there is audio, and I think a bit of smoke was drifting in as well. I'm not sure if there was an actual smoke machine in there, but this actually passes you through what is the maintenance shed. You see that on the left hand side, but there's curtains and things there to try and block it, but it's pretty much pitch black in there, to be honest. It'd be nice to see a bit of theming. If there's one thing I could say about the ride, it'd be nice to see a bit more theming inside there. So you come to the end and then you see like a scene on the left. But it's definitely not a necessity. I just wouldn't fancy stacking in there, because obviously Wicker Man's going to be running 3 trains. I don't think stacking in there would be very good, because it's pitch black and there's not really anything going on, and you want to be coming into that station screaming with excitement like, oh my god, what have I just experienced. So yeah, and then you're back into the station. Overall then, Wicker Man is an absolutely fantastic investment for Alton Towers. And I'm not just saying this because I was invited up there early to ride it, and I want to, you know, say all good things about it. I'm not lying, that was a brilliant overall experience. It's not the best wooden roller coaster I've ever been on, it's not the best themed roller coaster I've ever seen, but combining all of it together, a wooden roller coaster, fire effects, smoke, I forgot to mention actually throughout the Wicker Man structure you've got like a mist water spray as well, which comes at you from the structure. As an overall experience, this has got to be one of the best rides in the UK, and in my opinion, in terms of an experience, can you imagine Hex at Alton Towers as a roller coaster, so to speak? It's kind of like that in terms of experience. Your well-themed queue line, your pre-show, and then you ride at the end, and it's a really good addition by the park. I'd give it a solid 9 out of 10. There's not much I would have changed about it. Yes, it would have been nice if it was a little bit longer, but when you're on the ride, it actually feels like it's got a really good length to it. You don't realise just how short the track length actually is. And I think because it's got a couple of sections where it's slower, it gives you time to think, oh god, that was really good, that section. Now we're going on to this bit. And yeah, just overall, a good solid 9 out of 10 from me. It's a brilliant coaster, and I feel privileged and really lucky to have it so close to me. I'm only 10 minutes away. I'll be going up there a lot this year, and you'll see a lot of Wicker Man here on Theme Park Worldwide. But it's certainly not disappointing. It rides a lot better than what I was expecting. In terms of what would I rate it to other roller coasters, wooden coasters, I would say it's up there as a joint first place for my #1 wooden roller coaster in the UK, along with Megaphobia at Oakwood. For a traditional wooden coaster, Megaphobia is awesome. Wicker Man with all the theming and the experience and that ride, I'd rate it up there just the same. I love it to bits. It's a really, really solid addition to Alton Towers, and the fact it's a 1.2 coaster as well is great for them. It means a lot more people can experience it. The pre-show, that projection mapped head what's in there, the audio throughout the ride from IMAscore, they've done a great job, they really have, and I look forward to seeing the shop, and I'll do a video in there. In terms of what you're going to see content wise on the channel, you've probably seen already I've uploaded a video from the queue line with some off-ride shots. Obviously this one here with my review, I'll also be uploading the video like a Q&A, what we did with the ride designer and operations team, so make sure you check that one out. And yeah, just honestly so much to come from the whole experience of Wicker Man. Also, I'm going to be at the press event next Friday where we'll get to ride it in the dark and share some night shots from the ride, and then we'll be at the park Saturday and Sunday as well. So much to see from this fantastic new coaster, and it's great to have it so close to home, it really is. Now of course the ride itself does open on March the 17th, 2018, so yeah, if you are going to Alton Towers, I hope you really enjoy this attraction. I'd also like to say a big thank you to Alton Towers, because without them this video and all the videos about Wicker Man that we putting on before the opening would not have been possible. So a big thank you to the marketing team, operations and management at Alton Towers Resort for inviting me to go up and see the ride. What an experience, like I say. I know there's a lot of people out there that have looked at this ride's plans, they've seen the construction and thought, it just looks small, but when you get on it, honestly, it packs a punch. I'm not just saying it, it's a brilliant ride experience. And as an overall package, with that ride, the pre-show, all the theming, it's one of the best rides to ever be built in the UK. Icon has certainly got some competition at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. That's another huge ride opening this year, another one we look forward to covering here on the channel, and it certainly is a very exciting time for the British theme park industry. So much that I don't think I've missed anything, but like I say, if you've got any questions or want to know a bit more about anything individually, then comment below on this video. I'm always there for all your different questions and things, and look forward to seeing what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching another video here on Theme Park Worldwide, and stay tuned for plenty more exciting content and vlogs from Wicker Man at Alton Towers. I'm Sean Sandbrook, thank you for watching, and that means it's time to cue those credits. Bye guys, and feed the flames.